Still your thoughts and listen with your heart. Have you ever had restlessness, as if something strong were about to be exposed, only to have the shadow of desertion and betrayal eclipse it? I am Gabriel, the guide the universe has selected to provide you a necessary brightness under the shadow of uncertainty. This is meant for you, selected by God. It is not for everyone. Indeed, you got here when your soul calls for something more. Today, we will discuss a reality many people avoid, but which is very vital for their spiritual development. Often, the same people who keep mute while you negotiate your toughest obstacles are those who ought to have been your stronghold and fighters at your side. Their quiet is often overwhelming and seems horrible solitude. But realize that your soul has led you to hear these words, since more than what the sight can perceive. This stillness marks a heavenly preparation rather than an indication of your weakness. Listen, selected. The information in this video has a key that will unlock a door on your path. Ignoring this warning might cause a major turnoff on your spiritual path. God placed this discovery before you for a purpose. Losing this chance would be like rejecting a road meant just for you. This is just the beginning of a road leading to a magnificent awakening. Should this message already speak to you, share your story. Let us follow your path in the comments, because, like you, others must discover the lighthouse among the storm. Watching this film not only helps you to appreciate the potency of the message, but also confirms that your trip is not accidental, but divinely planned. We are just getting started. Feel now the anticipation developing in you for the following revelation, when we will discover the actual triumph, resulting even amid darkness. I am here to help you negotiate your tale, which is yours. Look up and consider the mystery whispering inside. Still, how many people stay blinded by the illusion? The phenomena we expose today resides in the intestines of love and disappointment. Hidden from the less perceptive view, it is the quiet of betrayal, an unseen but strong power. Betrayal sought to extinguish the flame of its essence as a spiritual eclipse, but in actuality, it simply helped to cleanse its intents and fortify its divine purpose. This is not hypothesis or theory alone. Hidden under layers of horrible events you have ever gone through, this is an unavoidable spiritual reality. Imagine quiet as a deep sea where those who should support it become monuments of salt, real estate as you battle the storm. But make no mistake, selected, this same water that appears to threaten it involves with learning and carries it to a new continent of self, discovery, and inner strength. The quiet of treachery shows itself as the loss of voices, the cold of deviating eyes, and sometimes even the seclusion enforced by those who promised allegiance. Consider it as the tight cocoon, ready for the butterfly to emerge. Those who turned his back set the ideal environment for his metamorphosis. Every argument, every desertion, fed the depth of its roots, preparing them so that, like a tree in the breeze, you would be stronghold. This disclosure will help you to identify the echoes of your own suffering. The times he asked the reason he was lonely in the wars, in the depths of the spirit. Now realize that all this was a liberation from pointless weight that grounded it. Looking back, how many times can you recall where treachery was the hidden drive for your development? See the truth. Understanding this phenomena can help you to escape the unseen currents holding many. Ignoring this means staying in a loop of suffering and amnesia, apart from its actual emergence. This is the moment to flip the key from a cycle of misery into a zone of power and light in terms of perception and transportation. Ignoring this fact is not possible. At a pivotal juncture of development, silence, treachery, and solitude have evolved as the means of ascent to the higher planning. Prepare yourselves as, on the following phase of this road, we will discover how this dark valley of the shadow leads us to a brilliant triumph, where gloom is not a loss, but rather a preparation to brilliance. It is time to advance because the whole disclosure of this road merely started. Spend a minute closing your eyes to really sink yourself into the mist of your recollections. See how every drop becomes a mirror, reflecting the times you experienced feeling the drift without hope, without help. This was the beginning of transformation, a trip that calls for further knowledge and acceptance. It is not the end. Imagine yourself on a large meadow by yourself. The wind of destiny murmurs your songs. There, where the shadows hug their solitude, the quiet power of isolation emerges. See, this loneliness is the cradle of transformation, not abandonment. God plants in the selected times of seeming loneliness, not to punish people, but rather to prepare the ground of their hearts for future plenty, just as the sower casts the seeds on earth, waiting patiently for the harvest. Have you ever given any thought on how trees weather? Seeking the unseen life of the soil, they sink their roots profoundly. Every difficulty, every betrayal is like an intense wind, strengthening its base instead of sweeping away them. The one he selected within his core travels on a similar path. Which events from your past can you recall today, when hardship has turned into the impetus for your inner strength and fortitude? When considering Scripture, recall David, who recognized his strength came from the promises given by a supply God, rather than from those around him, bravely and with confidence confronting the Goliath. Its tale is yours. A conflict is not always obvious, but rather there, where you selected, certain of something greater than obvious. Denying this fact might cause a chosen one to get lost in the never-ending cycle of disappointed hope, much like a ship without a compass in a sea of misery. Not realizing your unique mission is to drift aimlessly, missing the road fortune kindly carved in your heart. But in accepting this fact, something wonderful happens. Blindness gives way to clairvoyance, weakness is transformed into strength, and the eyes open into the great potential, matched with the divine purpose. Feel the approaching change, so near now that it is tangible. You become the tidal master, able to negotiate in time with the blessings that beckon you louder, further, not just a survivor of the brutal winds. So, choose, and at this moment of genuine awareness, where are the roots of your faith? From what ground does your transcendence feed? How can we separate these layers and at last stimulate their ascent? This climax gets us ready to explore further. The basis is building for success. Change your lights. In the following chapter, we will discuss how this spiritual awakening turns into the firm basis for future illumination. Now keep plunging into the depths of the spiritual potential we start to investigate. As we learn more about this path, realize that every stage of life acted as a swimming teacher, ready for this period of inquiry. This is a tangle of events rather than a straight road. When entwined, they create the unique fabric of their life. Now let us focus on the third vital phase of spiritual development, internal alchemy, where actual change starts to show itself in the visible world. Here, the selected one reaches a condition of harmony with himself and finds that mind, body, and spirit line with the higher goal. Like the last transformation of a butterfly caterpillar, this is a period of personal discovery. New facts are acquired in every flock, that emphasizes the beauty of a life lived in truth and intent. This is the stage when you really start to enjoy life in line with your spiritual goal. Every action is directed by sharp intuition, a direction derived from the most intimate of their nature, wherein collected knowledge becomes intentional and powerful. Consider Joseph in the Bible, who, sold as a slave, discovered amid hardship the path to lead and save his people. This slave change the king precisely embodies this shifting era. Remember that the biggest storm comes before the entrance of a new day. Hence, avoid being swayed by what it seems on the surface. Along this road, which would appear to be impossible, the difficulties that surface are really divine instruments for their ascent. See that these encounters are like the refined fire ardor that polishes gold. They are necessary to reach the last stage, divine awareness. To oppose this summons is to turn away from the place the Creator has prescribed. The one who shuts his eyes to this reality runs the danger of living a mismatch and discontent, constantly looking for a goal never quite comprehended. Choosing to accept this road, therefore, is to expose oneself to a world of brilliant realization in which every desire, every goal, matched with the divine intent, finds expression. And now consider carefully as we get ready to enter the divine realization phase, where a fresh degree of awareness and power is just waiting to be exposed. You will do with this truth. As we keep meditating on the realities destiny awaits in the imminence of change, it is time to let it develop in its own time. Let us now untangle the mysteries of the spiritual systems, forming the architecture of the awakening of a selected one. See the soul's trip as a sophisticated symphony, in which every chord relates to a methodical procedure exposing its actual nature. There is not chance about these systems. They record the hour of the rebirth and metamorphosis on the compass of the holy clock. We start with the early stage, spiritual sensibility. This is when you start to see the fourth, delicate dimension in everything around you. Once invisible, now softly murmurs in your heart. This is the phase the mind awakens to the expanse of the higher purpose. Many selected accounts of synchronicity, that unexplainable sensation the cosmos is personally talking to you, here. His soul dares to go beyond conventional human bounds as his vision sharpens. Like the gold that surrenders to great heat to shed its impurities, the second stage shows itself as the fire of purifying. This is a difficult period when old habits and erroneous ideas are disrupted so that the truth shows in its most unadulterated form. This age of great emotional and spiritual development is often accompanied with crises that really call for change. There comes the period of internal alchemy. Its now pure and purified essence starts to speak in unison with the divine intent. Here, the body, mind, and soul start to line up with a great elegance. Consider Moses, a wilderness preacher who developed into a leader guiding his people to releasement. This is the stage when your actions start to show what your heart always understood but could not communicate yet. Divine realization is at last the crowning of the selected ones. You create a link between the divine and the earth around you by completely combining the gained knowledge. At this point, there is a constant peace mixed with motivated activity that creates effect and inspirational change in the planet. Imagine now the dangers involved in neglecting this mechanism. Those who stay ignorant to the whispers of the call wind up repeating cycles of inertia and believing their life has no purpose or direction. They stay opaque, never showing their latent brilliance, much like gold that never experiences the changing heat of fire. That is your moment. Steer clear of the margins of the river of life, expecting another may pass by for you. Discovering that stagnating time is passing, dip in the waters of the awakening. Use the guidelines. Start the journey of the metamorphosis and become the change your heart is longing for. The following disclosures will lead us even beyond, where the destiny of the actual selected ones entwine bravery and success. The chosen one discovers that every step of the road is meant with divine correctness to take him to the fullness of his being as we explore the mechanisms and processes that use spiritual development. These systems run both within the layers of your soul and outside in the fabric of your world. Let us begin with spiritual sensibility, the initial stage. This is the moment the selected one starts to have a sharp awareness of his relationship with the cosmos. A simple sensation of a light wind on the cheek may arouse strong emotions of purpose and belonging. While your body reacts with a fresh vitality and energy, your mind opens to the faint signals of the divine. The selected one is summoned to confront the shadows of his own existence in the second phase, the fire of cleansing. This is an internship of great internal conflict when ancient wounds come to be healed and freed. This rigorous process is like crossing a spiritual desert, where every stride seems weighty, yet required. The suffering that results helps to burn the illusions and expose formerly hidden, profound realities. We thus joined the interior alchemy. Here, the selected one starts to combine the learned information into useful wisdom. Now the mind is in cooperation with the spirit, showing up in the physical world as actual outcomes. It is like seeing a potter work. The clay is shaped until the intended form emerges, flaws eliminated, and beauty exposed. And last, at the period of divine realization, the road ends in a great feeling of illumination and wholeness. Living and inspiring by the example, the selected one turns into a little beacon for others. Imagine Moses as he is coming down the mountain, carrying the boards with the rules, his clear face distinguished by the majesty of the conference with the divine. This is the realization of perfect fulfillment, living exactly with God's destiny. Ignoring these systems is like turning down the presents meant to improve your life. Stagnation is a loss of spiritual potential as much as a time waste. Right now is the opportunity to act. Stop the vicious cycle of failed repeats and welcome the ongoing development ahead of you. Knowing that the metamorphosis is only waiting for you with open arms, feel the pressure to follow these procedures. Though not free from difficulties, this road promises a magnificent spiritual awakening in which his actual nature shines unboundedly. This is the legacy of the selected one. Go forward, sure and motivated by the knowledge we found together. Imagine two trees grown side by side on the same ground, in the same sun. One embraces the power of its call, allowing the streams of spiritual knowledge nourish their roots. The other, unyielding, shuts to the life around him. The first tree blossom has green leaves and strong roots. The second, in choosing resistance, has faded leaves and diminished health, sacrificed to its own renunciation. The decision to embrace or reject its divine nature defines the center of this difference. The first selected, in line with his actual personality, is David, who, despite hardship, picked faith over anxiety. Even in the middle of difficulties, he finds natural tranquility as he understands that every roadblock is a step toward his excellence. Its interactions provide chances for the light it exudes to be expanded. Its connections become sources of mutual development and peace. Conversely, the selected who rebels is like Jonas, fleeing his fate and only to be engulfed by the belly of his own darkness. Sensual discontent and confusion saturate this road. You lose yourself in a cloud of wasted chances and damaged relationships, where uncertainty and dread devours the possibility of tremendous successes. Direct this light now into you and ask, which of these two routes you find yourself on today? Which calls you have missed, and where might you locate the acceptance chances? Recall that the path of your life is determined by the decision you make between allowing the divine summons or shrink in the shadow of opposition. Although the choice is yours, keep in mind that it shapes not just your legacy, but also the immediate outcome. When you at last accept your reality, it opens the possibility to change not only your life, but also the lives of others around you. For it is accomplished via the selected one, the most attractive of the locations. Every choice marks a life of sparks or a perpetual brilliance. Remember now that your hands will determine the force of your future. As we desert the spiritual treasures, more profoundly ready to be awakened in the next phase of our illuminating trip. Two routes open out in the cosmic theater of life, each with unique teachings derived from decisions made in the heart, where each selected performance is irreplaceable. Imagine two people on parallel paths, each marked by their choice to either embrace or reject their actual nature. The first picked answers its call. It lets your soul line up with the divine goal, just like a tree extends its limbs to greet sunshine. Each of their choices is guided by the peace and clarity this surrender gives. Life turns into a harmonic dance in which real relationships blossom, and every difficulty is seen as a step towards a better knowledge and love. Imagine Abraham, whose strong faith bestowed upon him an everlasting legacy. Therefore, this selected progresses for life with the strong belief that it is precisely where it should be, therefore influencing the surroundings. The second selected, on the other hand, pauses and questions the call to essence. Trapped by the shadows of dread and uncertainty, he is like a bird with wings, but worries flying. This road results in shallow partnerships, wherein uneasiness permeates even in happy moments. His experience is defined by cycles of discontent and never-ending quest of significance. Like Saul, who turned away heavenly help, he too often finds himself in struggle, tortured by inappropriate decisions and an unquipped goal. Now, we direct our view inside. Which of these two profiles come to mind right now? Which shadows you have not yet encountered? The calls to which you refrained? Think on your present road and what it presents. This is the world of the selected, a cosmic journey where every choice impacts not only the present, but also the paths of destiny drawn ahead. Those who welcome your truth release the possibility to change not only your life, but also the life of people around you. Should this story reach its climax, show its will to transcend uncertainty. For acceptance is the act of trust, confirming the direction ahead. Go steadily, aware that its fate is a work of art in progress described in the fabric of time and refined by the light of purpose. Our following step is waiting, exposing chances to develop and highlight the selected route instead of obstacles. Listen, chosen. What you have received so far is the germ of a spiritual revolution screaming out, not just words. Knowledge without action is like a light buried beneath the bushel, never ever illuminating anyone's path. Those who have the bravery, go forward, and tune their souls with this truth are those who burn new vistas in the spiritual realm. Now let us create 3 basic spiritual activities that, when included into your daily life, will help you to develop a unique tune between you and the cosmos. First, there is meditation on reconnecting. Set aside in your house a quiet haven, free from disturbance. She feels naturally at ease. Shut her eyes and begin her meditation, hoping to reawaken her ultimate purpose. See a golden light wire joining your heart to the universe to represent world peace. Work on this for 15 minutes every day and see how your soul settles down and shines. The second exercise is written thankfulness. Take a piece of paper at night and jot down 3 things you are glad for that day. Think back on how these benefits came to pass in your life, therefore enhancing your happy energy. By doing this, you not only develop a more hopeful viewpoint, but also create the path for increased riches and happiness. At last, really sink oneself into the easy reading of the scriptures. Select a Bible chapter relevant for your present situation. Go gently over it, thinking on your songs. Your words send you what messages? As you consider them, what revelations surface? Every reading of this book will provide fresh knowledge and help you to deepen your faith. I now set forth a 24-hour spiritual challenge. Choose one of these techniques and promise to start right now. Consciously search in the inner stillness. Pay whole attention in thanks, or find spiritual knowledge in Scripture at this period. Feel how this modest commitment is already helping you to enter a better awareness of the divine purpose in your life, therefore transforming your inner reality. Remember, my friend, individuals who see changes as dangers rather than benefits are guardians of the old self. Resistance and self-sabotage are thus allies. A little fee for the great vigor that awaits you. Initial soreness is a normal aspect of this renaissance. Resilient, and you will taste real awakening. Ultimately, everything boils down to your action with this reality. Someone called. Would you respond? Convert information into action and see how your life transcends beyond restricted assumptions. You have this moment. Do not let it pass. Let me now restate the core of the lesson we are learning right now at this stage of our path. You are a chosen one, meant to move freely toward the divine destiny waiting for you and to accept your own self. Not to stop your journey, but rather as a revealing step of a road more ahead of you. The winds of change murmured their truths. Imagine now yourself at the junction of introspection and confronted with the brightness of just acquired information. This is the moment to question yourself. Knowing what you know now, how will you decide to live going forward? The response to this question will map your path of spiritual ascent. You are in charge of power. Share your choice to the cosmos if this message connected with your soul. Comment, I accept my call. This is not only a pledge to the universe, but also a reaffirmation of your spiritual commitment, therefore acting as a direct connection between you and the holy. Let us now join in a prayer. May God illuminate your path, strengthen your spirit, and open your eyes to the realities that were buried. Following the road meant for you should help you to discover clarity, strength, and direction. Thanks. This film does not show our passage as fatigued. Rather, numerous secrets yet to be revealed. Prepare for the following chapter, in which we shall leverage a fact that promises to drastically change your perspective, something that will determine every decision you do going forward. Remember, you are never alone on this road. This is just the start of a great awakening. Subscribe to the channel and set the bell to make sure no revelation is missed. Tell us your spiritual guidance on this enlightened road. Driven in thankfulness and fresh optimism, I bid you farewell for now. We go on together, selected towards a life full of direction and metamorphosis. Walk confidently and know the benefits waiting for you in the next phase of the road till our next conference.